And before we do that, you can begin to welcome everything you hear. Noticing how sounds arise from the silence and return to the silence, like the traffic sounds, the sound of the bell, the sound of my voice. Begin to become aware of how you physically feel in this moment. As we move into the meditation, we'll welcome everything and resist nothing. Relaxing into this moment, becoming aware of the physical sensations that are present, the varying temperatures, the textures on your skin, whether the clothing is on your skin or the air is meeting your skin. Welcome the pressure as you sit on the floor, and notice where your legs meet the floor. Be in the experience of sitting. As you begin to relax your scalp and your forehead, and soften your eyes. Relax your mouth and your tongue. Letting go of any tension in your jaw. Notice what sensations are present right here, right now. Do you feel the breeze on your skin? Do you hear the sounds coming and going? How beautiful it all is without a judgment. Letting your shoulders soften as you tuck your chin and allow the back of your neck to lengthen just a little bit. Letting go of any tension in your arms and noticing where your hands meet your lap or each other. This is a practice of being embodied. Feeling what it's like to be in this body right now. Moving away from words into sensation. Letting go of any tension in your upper back, your low back. You can think of your attention as a beam of love. That whatever you pay attention to, you're enlivening and nourishing and healing. As you soften your chest and your diaphragm and your belly. Relaxing your pelvis, your genitals. And noticing your legs and noticing what sensations are present as they meet the floor This moment is when your life is happening, right here, right now. And we're practicing yoking our attention to this moment, loving this moment. Tuning in now to the gentle rise and fall of your chest. And just behind your breastbone, perhaps you can feel or see or imagine your heart center or the light of your own awareness. That center point of peace. Breathing in and out, imagine that this breath is moving in and out of your heart center. You might even imagine a light that grows with each inhale. Letting your breath be natural. Keeping your attention in this center point of view. We'll ask ourselves a question. This is a silent self-inquiry practice that's thousands of years old. This question is, who am I? Who is this one sitting here? Ask yourself a couple of times and don't force an answer, though you might hear or see or feel something. And you can let that question go and any answers that might have met it. The next question you can ask yourself is, what do I long for? What do I truly desire? Ask yourself a few times without forcing anything. And letting that question go and bringing your attention once again back to that breath, that heart-centered breath that activates that alchemical, dynamic, nourishing, intelligent center point. Is there love present right here, right now? What if love lives through me as me? And what if my attention is the currency of love? And what if life loved me so much that it's trying to get my attention so it can lead me to my best life? And bringing your attention to your breath, noticing where you feel it most prominently in your body. Becoming aware of the inhale and the exhale without effort. Becoming aware of the pauses between each breath. And as you sit here with your eyes closed, begin to welcome once again everything you hear. Everything you feel. Because your senses are always happening now. And as you reflect on why you're here today, or why you came to this yoga festival this weekend, remember that what you're really looking for is what is looking. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly begin to open your eyes. Take your time, stay in your own integrity. We have Max who will serenade us out of our meditation.
Before I introduce myself, I'd like to ask you all to stand up and stretch. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you how to stretch. That's ridiculous, isn't it? My short talk, I want to really emphasize how you can be true to your intuition this weekend and how you can maximize your experience this weekend for taking it home with you. Throughout the weekend, allow yourself to stretch. This is a pretty friendly crowd. Nobody is going to judge you if you're sitting there and you stretch one shoulder or, go to the back of the room and stretch. You need to circulate your chi. You have such intense mind, heart, and soul focus. If you don't realize it, you tight yourself and then you don't retain. Do you understand? So give yourself permission all weekend to stretch when you need it. All right? All right. When you feel ready, go ahead and have a seat. Yeah, that's the problem. The only other time I had more trouble was I had a retreat once with all high-feeling people, and it didn't feel ready to start, and I said, before we start, just get somebody you haven't had a chance to give a hug. And 20 minutes later, they were still hugging. And I'm going, can we get started? My name is Pete Sanders. I'm kind of an interesting duality. I'm an honors graduate of Massachusetts Institute of Technology with principal studies biomedical chemistry and brain science. I'm also a former top secret cleared naval officer, and I'm also the very proud founder of Sedona's longest continuous serving 501c3 spiritual organization, Free Soul. I'm going to try and condense my background real briefly, but it's mostly to make a point of what I want you to get from the weekend and why I wanted to be a part of this opening. As I was heading to MIT with all the typical, achievement goals, top athlete, freak accident, ripped all my cartilage out of my right knee when I was 16. They said I'd need a knee joint replacement in 10 years, 15 if I was lucky. It's getting done this summer. Yay, Medicare. 50 years, I made it. Cost me a shot at Olympic level water polo. Instead of USC, UCLA, I went back east for academics. Still got to be all New England most valuable player. Still working on humility. But I went to MIT wanting to know everything we could learn in brain science about how to heal the body, what are the potentials. But as I was traveling there, I stumbled across a book called There Is a River, which is the story of Edgar Cayce's life. And if you've never read it, what most grabbed me was in the very first chapter, Cayce as a child was in the woods and saw an angel. And the angel said, Edgar, if you could have anything you want, what would you wish for? And he didn't wish for a bicycle or money or fame. He said, to help people. And that totally changed my life. I love science, but to help people is what's important. So again, want to acknowledge Heather and Mark for putting on this consciousness evolution as a forum for you to help yourself, where we make you all honorary Sedonans. You go home connected to the family of the heart. The other final short part of my background is my advisor at MIT threw a book at me. She said, how could you do that? I was accepted to Harvard Med School and turned it down to go on a vision quest and found Free Soul. She said, how could you put that on your application to Harvard? You really want to go there? And I said, what? She said, you put country doctor, general practitioner. I said, yeah, that's what I want to be, the guy who charged, give me a chicken. Now, I'm also a very big fan of Swami Beyondananda, if you've ever heard of him. He does the lighter side of enlightenment. And part of what I want to encourage you to do this weekend is, one of his things was, hey, Seek out your gurus, but remember what guru really means. If you just spell it slowly, G, you are you. Credit to Swami Beyondananda for that. My specialty is brain science, physics, and spirituality for how to be able to create your touchstones of ceremony and that essence of yoga in every moment of your life. When I finished a year-long vision quest, riding a bike around the US, I wanted to serve country. I got from my guides not to start Free Soul till 1980, and I had 6 years. So I did voluntary service as a naval officer and traveled the world, visiting sacred sites, climbing Mount Fuji, vortexes all around. But what I most practiced was how do you take the spiritual skills that you love and work them into the crazy world of being a military naval officer and the pressures. How do you bring the mountaintop into the village of life so you live yoga of the soul? That's I told Heather, Heather and Mark were wonderful in how they juggled things, because like the whole program's written and I go, don't just make it scientific vortex information, because this year I want to do yoga of the soul and scientific vortex information. And Heather changed it, bless her heart. Why is that important? You all have yoga practices you do. I want to teach you how to bring it into every moment of your life so you can be in that yoga flow even when you're in the job with the screaming child, with the pressures, so you live the yoga, not just do the yoga. Do you understand? And because part of my background is brain science, we know that the minute you rush, you lose retention. So I want you to try something with me. Hold a hand up. And I know you're all very flexible yoga people, so you can do this. I want you to try and touch your forearm with your hand. If you can do that, you will have yoga flow for the rest of your life. You'll be enlightened. Give it a shot. How's that feel? That's what we're like when we're affected by limbic brain that causes us to struggle effort. We want effort. Nothing gets done without effort. But when you go limbic, you struggle rather than flow. Instead of being the river, you're tumbling in the rapids. Do you understand? And I want you to know I love all people. My first book, the reason I said trust your intuition for how to stretch, can you imagine that MIT's Technology Review magazine actually featured my first book when it came out, You Are Psychic? There were some old fogies who said, don't put that in our technology. But they did it anyway. I'm really thrilled. It just came out in its 7th foreign language edition in Russian. I'm even more thrilled. It just came out in Audible book, so people can be led through. But I used to, and I want you to know I love all people, but there are so many things to do this weekend. If you rush, you won't retain. So please, ex-military, like you take a patriotic pledge with me right now, please raise your hand, repeat after me. Notice I'm raising my left hand for all the pacifists. Wink, wink, it's safe. Come on, have fun. I promise this weekend to not be a Russian. Stroll. Before I leave, I'm going to teach you a very quick technique. My program that is live streaming tomorrow in this room at 4:30, Yoga of the Soul and Scientific Vortex Information, we're going to teach even more. We're going to explain the science that says that you exist in dimensions beyond. We're going to explain the brain science for why people do yoga and how yoga gets them out of those negative parts of the brain that keep them struggling, so that you understand how to do your yoga better and how the vortexes can boost your yoga, which sites for what, where to go, and how to tap all of that even when you can't be in Sedona. So you understand all the pieces. Why is that important? Some of you are so from the heart, you don't need this information because you live it. But for many of us, when we have a little bit of technical understanding, we do let ourselves experience better, or we can explain it to our loved ones who are going, what are you doing in those good-looking pants, but weird clothes? You can put it in terms that they might join you on the experience. You understand? And when you rush, you put yourself into limbic brain, and you don't retain all the workshops you're going to be getting here. I have a tip for you. Go beyond just attending the workshops. Absorb what information sticks of what that person's sharing. All the presenters are wonderful. But most importantly, and I believe the previous speakers all alluded to this, as you're listening to their information, be thinking, how can I do this at home? How does this adapt to my life? Be a creative pioneer developing your own versions of what you're hearing presented. And most importantly, what are the skills that are going to allow me to be my own best teacher for the rest of my life? Be that explorer. Make sense? Now, we started late and speakers were all wonderful. You've been sitting a long time, so I want to wrap up. I want to leave you with something that you can use when you need to capture that essence of yoga. And I won't go into all the explanations, but any of you who come tomorrow 4:30, you'll hear why this touches physics, brain science. Take the hand you feel best channels love. As you hold that hand, think of the yoga pose that for right now is the one that's most meaningful to you. Either the yoga pose or the meditation or sitting, and just encapsulate that in your hand and touch your heart with it. Then bring that hand up, touch the top of your head, but turn the palm up to soul dimensions. And either as a feeling, a picture, a word, condense all of that into your own mantra. That's going to be your touch zone for yoga tune-in when you need it. Go ahead and let your hand come back down after you have your word or your feel. And I want to show you how rapid this can be. Hold in mind what that word, picture, or feel was. Everybody got it? Now just watch me for a second and then do it. You hold it in mind, you put it in your heart, you put it in your mind, you connect it with your soul. Do those 4 steps. Heart, mind, soul. When you feel rushed this weekend and you're dashing between workshops, or you're tired, sit down and just do that real quickly, and also open the skylight and let yourself be recharged from above. Make sense? How many of you like the Lion King song? Circle of Life. Nam yarengha babari. It's an inspiring song, right? Did you ever listen to how incredibly stressful and kind of negative the words are? After the Nam Yarengha, here's the actual words. From the day we arrive on the planet, stepping blinking into the sun, there's more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here. Is this starting to sound like the Yoga Festival weekend? Why is that song so inspiring? Because we come to planet Earth to experience the full river. Not just the calm, gentle, peacefuls, but the rapids. Do you believe we come to planet Earth for a reason? I mean, to me, there's only 2 choices. Either you come for a reason, or you were just floating around out there and got too close to people having sex and, oh shit, stuck again. So life is in the village. Life is in the things. We want to have effort without struggle. We want to make life a quest, not a test. So what you want to do, there is never enough time. I'm also exposed to a lot of the brain science for education. My wife, bless her heart, almost 40 years married. She's not the oldest. She's the longest continuous serving public school teacher in Sedona. I'm very proud of her. And she keeps teaching me new things, and this was one of them. One of the 5 elements of a brain-compatible learning environment, if you put these 5 elements in everything you do, you retain better, is adequate time. There is never enough time. That was the message of the Lion King. You make adequate time by connecting what you value. And you've heard all the other speakers say this, looking in the eye, as Sarah McLean said, giving full attention in that moment, and to yourself. As you go through the weekend, don't try and retain everything you hear. That will put you in overload and you wipe. You understand? Absorb one thing from each workshop and make it your own. Those of you who are watching us on the live stream, you have the benefit is you can watch all these things again for up to a year. I know you've already invested in coming here. Consider if you want to also invest in the live stream so that you have a way you can refresh. Or I think Mark was very gracious. He was saying, film, do all the stuff you want to record. I think that's right, or did I just screw up? But, have ways to review, but most important, take one thing out of each program and make it your own. I want to thank you for letting me share with you today. It's a joy to welcome you as fellow family of the heart Sedonans who can take that all back. Hope to see some of you 4:30. If you can't come, you're signed up for other things. The Yoga Festival bookstore has the Scientific Vortex book and the Joy Center book as their online store, or you can get it as an ebook or Audible books. All right? Have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you over the weekend.
No, there's no screw-ups. Never. That's right. Is this on? How y'all feeling? Is it all rainbows and unicorns? Sounds like it, right? Like these guys have been talking about some really cool stuff. They have. And I've been back there going, wow, what a setup. First, Heather sets it up. I forgot the order, but then Shunya comes out. Another setup. Sarah, another setup. And Pete, Segway Man. Why don't you just close your eyes for a second, okay? Just close your eyes. You don't have to jump up and down or anything. Take a deep breath with me. And I just want you to, wait a minute. Open your eyes. See, I screwed up. I screwed up, Pete. Thank you, Pete. You're one of the most amazing human beings I know. And your soul is truly free. And thanks for holding that for the rest of us. The things you do in this town for everyone. Really, brother, thank you. And I just want to say that was Max Ribner of NACO, Medicine for the People. Yeah, right? Right? What the heck? I think he's going to be playing Antigua tomorrow night? No, Saturday night. Saturday night, so check that out. All right. Were there any other announcements I had to make? Because as soon as I dive back in, we're going in. So no more announcements? Everybody good? One more announcement. My in-laws are here. Last year, if you remember, I got to have my mom and dad here. That was cool. But this year, my in-laws are here, and we love it that you're here. Thank you. And it's very special, I think, for Heather as well. So here's the thing. Let's go back to closing our eyes. You gonna shoot that shot yet? Okay, I'm walking away. You promised you'd post it. All right. Alan took a shot of me completely bent over picking up a box last year, and then went, "I just shot your ass." And I'm like, thanks. All right, here's the thing. Close your eyes. So as I said, rainbows and unicorns, that's what they were talking about. We all know this. Have you, while your eyes are closed, raise your hand if you've felt what we've been talking about. Just go ahead, raise your hands. No one else is looking. Now raise your hand if you think you may have felt this thing everybody's talking about. And if you had your hand up before, leave it up. Okay? All right. Now raise your hand if you wonder, what the heck are they talking about? Okay? All right. I'm going to tell you a bit about what it is we're talking about. So your eyes are closed. I just want you to go ahead and visualize something in your life. Something that took that feeling away. And if you want to lower your hand, you can. Just so you know, you were the only one left. It was so cool. I want you to just close your eyes and visualize a moment in your life. A moment in your life. Let's call it an elevated moment. Pretty cool. Rainbows and unicorns, yeah? Sparkles and sunshine. And now, I don't want you to dig deep or anything, but just think of something that you may have lost. And I don't want you to go too deep with it. I just want you to touch the edge of that loss or feeling and recognize that 100 people today, teachers, practitioners, 100 of them met today to honor the fallen, to honor those who are not with us. And in my case, line of duty death. But in your case, it might be something different. In your case, it might be the memory of a childhood dog or cat. In your case, it may be the memory of dropping an ice cream cone when you were 5. In your case, it may be as simple as stubbing your toe at the wrong moment sometime in your life to bring some form of habitual pain into your experience. For me, there was a lot of it because of my career, and many of you know, because I'm pretty vocal about PTSD and trauma, because I'm living it right now. I am living it. And I want you to acknowledge and know that you may be out there living this limbic experience, as Pete said. You may be the one who is in the rainbows and unicorns. Wherever you are on this path, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. Sometimes we forget. Shunya, when she was speaking, reminded me something that I forget on a fairly regular basis. And that is who I really am. You can open your eyes now. Because what you see in front of you is Mark, Alexander, Titus. For those of you who are wondering, there was a little Facebook game out there. This body, this mind. I was born in Germany. I lived a life. I grew up in California. I went to school. I did things, and I did more things, and I forgot about some things, and I did more things, and then things happened, and more things happened, and the next thing I know, I'm standing in front of you. But along the way, something habituated me into forgetting. But the irony of it is, and I was talking with Shunya in the back, the irony of it is we can't forget. We actually cannot forget. Because we are that. If you forgot, I would hazard a guess that you would be a bag of bones and flesh and eventually dust. Right? Because that which animates you and me and all of it, I'm not going to go any further because Shunya really nailed that, right? I'm not even going to go there. But what I am going to say is, if you've forgotten, it's okay. It's okay. I can tell you how many times I've forgotten, how many times I've fallen down, how many times I've not been able to get up. And yet, I can tell you right now, right this moment, I am alive. I am so alive right now. And at the same time, I think of the 9 that I left on the hill. That's my tragedy, one of them. So what we're going to do with this conference, it isn't what we're going to do, it's what you're going to do. Each of you, together, and then it becomes we. Because as everyone has said, we can't forget. We are that. It's in us. One of my teachers said once, and I'm horribly butchering, but if it's infinite, then it has to be within you. How could it not be within you and still be the infinite? Everywhere but me? Well, that's how I feel. And that's how so many people out there feel. Now, you may not be one of them. You may be one of the rainbows and unicorns, and booyah, awesome. I'm really happy for you. I really am. And that means that you can be the light, the guiding light for those of us who can't see it all the time, who forget all the time, because we do. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm white-knuckling this thing. Did you notice that? Just happened. Just noticed it. Just came into consciousness. I never know when things are going to go wonky. And you can ask my wife about that. This afternoon, I told our training that I was really triggered. And guess what? The energy of this gathering is the only thing that's different in my life. And usually it takes me hours to get out of that nastiness. And so what I'm going to say is this. For the next 4 days, as Pete said, let's do our best to stay out of the limbic system. Right? There's no rush here. Are there any Russians in here? I couldn't believe he did that, but he did. And I followed up, took the bait. Don't rush. There's no need. Everything is going to be okay. But what's important is this. This group has the power, has the honor and the integrity and the nobility and the sovereignty to change the world right now. Somebody actually said, you said, I don't know what this or what's happening now might affect someone across the planet. My thoughts about that person across the planet. And it dawned on me this gathering can and will heal the world. It will heal those like me, even if they don't know what yoga is. Right? Because somewhere they do. And maybe that somewhere is inside you. Maybe that somewhere is inside you or you. And just your vibrancy your aliveness in that moment can change a life. That's what this yoga festival is all about. That's what this event is all about. This is about changing lives and realizing that my life is your life. Realizing that when I suffer, you suffer. When I cry, you cry. So take the responsibility, as Heather said. Do your yoga, as my teacher would say. And remember this. While you may be having that rainbows and unicorns experience, someone you see or someone you know may not be. And that's just a reality for them. Whether they've forgotten or not, doesn't matter. And so you get to be the way shower. You get to carry the sword of truth. And you get to be the lighthouse. And just think about it. Lighthouses don't run around all harried and Russian. Harry Russian? I'm not really sure. But lighthouses don't run around, that's funny, all hurried and rushing to save those ships, do they? No, they don't. So be that lighthouse. Be that beacon of hope. Because the life that you might save, well, who knows who it will be. But I guarantee you, if you stay on this path, you're not only going to change lives, but you're going to heal people, and very well may change the world. So, close your eyes one more time. See that moment in time. See those feelings, and let it go. Maybe it's hard, but just take a deep breath and all right. Open your eyes. Thank you very much. Heather, my beloved, where are you? Come up here, please. She said to me so many times over the past 10 days, you got this, Mark. You got this, Mark. You got this. I got this because of you. You. I've got this. Thank you. Thank you. And namaste.
What do you want to do next? So there's a concert. Hi. James. Yeah. Okay. We have 3 amazing events for you, if the presenters are still waiting in those empty rooms or not. But tonight there's a very special sound healing in here. So if you're tired of sitting, you can lay down, probably, as a matter of fact, I think, at some point, with Ashana. And that is bound to be very, very soothing, purifying, and amazing for your soul. So you're welcome to stay here for this. You can Bhav Marley, be in the Bhav Marley with Sylvia Mordini over in Canyon Ballroom. You can go to bed. I'm not telling you what to do. Or wonderful, wonderful, move the body, get into the body with some music and some dance over at Tikwa Ballroom with Janet Farnsworth. And hey, honey, you got this. Yeah? We're going to rock this weekend out. And, it'll be Monday soon. So have a good time and just be here.
Well, go have some fun. And I guess the only other thing is who's teaching the Zumba class? See you all around.